Hello, welcome to KidTime. Today is August 16th, 2020. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Liz. I am the Children's Ministries Director here at Our Redeemer's Lutheran Church, and I'm so happy that you're able to join me today. Alrighty, so getting started right away today, here are the materials that you will need for our lesson. So we'll start with the Transfiguration worksheet and stickers. These can be found right below my video. All you need to do is download them, print them out, and then of course with the stickers, you're going to have to cut them out and use glue instead because yours don't have sticky on them. Next, you'll need a glue stick and scissors, colored pencils, crayons, or markers, 2 cotton balls should be good, a silver or gold marker, and then lastly, some colored paper. Awesome. Alrighty, so you can pause the video now if you need to collect those materials. So I'm wondering, do any of you remember what Jesus' friends are called? What do we call Jesus' friends? That's right, we call them the disciples. So Jesus and the disciples were one community, like we are a community. So meaning that we are a group of people that belong or that hang out together and we do things together. What we do together is we go to church together. Jesus and his friends, the disciples, worked together and taught together and ate together and traveled together. Wow, they did everything together. One day, Jesus and 3 of his friends went up on a mountain, and something happened. God wanted to make sure that the disciples knew that Jesus was the Son of God. So, God did something really amazing. Okay, let me open up our story Bible for today. I want you guys to look at this picture. Look at the pictures that are here. What does it look like these disciples are seeing? So here's our disciples here. What does it look like they're seeing? That's right, it looks like it's a really bright light. Now I want you to imagine the brightest light that you have ever seen. Okay? It's even brighter than a flashlight. So think something even brighter than a flashlight. Do you have a picture in your head? Okay. So that's kind of what we're going to be talking about in our story. It's a very bright light. Let's read the story and find out what happened, okay? So I want you guys to try to follow along with me as I read. The Transfiguration. Peter, James, and John were very excited. They were climbing a mountain with Jesus. Higher and higher they climbed, right to the top. Then they noticed something different about Jesus. Jesus' face and clothes were bright and shiny like the sun. Moses and the prophet Elijah were standing with Jesus, talking about God's promise to save the world. Peter couldn't believe his eyes. Suddenly, a cloud covered the mountain. A voice said, "This is my son. Listen to him." The voice was God. Peter, James, and John covered their faces. Then Jesus touched them. They peeked up. Everything was the same as it was before, even Jesus. On the way back down the mountain, Jesus, Peter, James, and John talked about God's promise, but they didn't tell anyone else what happened on the mountain for a long, long time. The end. So, what amazing things did God do in our story? What amazing things did God do in our story? Yeah, He made them look so bright and shiny and said, Jesus, he is my son. Who all was on the mountain then? Who all was up there on the mountain? Okay, there was Peter, James, John, Jesus. Okay. So God showed and told the disciples that Jesus was God's son. God wanted to make sure that they were listening. So God did that in a very amazing way. God also wanted people to know that everyone who follows Jesus is part of a community. Everybody. We're all people who go and we worship Jesus. And that's our community. We are part of community. Our community is our Redeemer's Lutheran Church. Pretty cool. Alrighty, so I want you guys to go ahead and get out your worksheets today. Okay, so go ahead and print them out if you don't have it already. How did God get the disciples' attention? Do you remember? He made Jesus' face and clothes shine like the sun. If God were going to get our attention today, what do you think he could do? Could he make us shine and sparkle like the sun? Yeah, I bet he could. Could he paint our whole bodies in colorful rainbow colors? Yeah, that's an idea. What other ideas do you have? What kind of glitz or glitter could God use to get our attention? Bet you guys have some phenomenal ideas. So some things that we could do to get attention would be like skywriting from a plane. Have you ever seen a plane right in the sky? Maybe somebody says, "Will you marry me?" Have you ever seen that? I've never seen it in person. I've always seen it in the movies. Brightly colored birds, maybe. Or maybe just stories in the Bible. All ways that God gets our attention. So he does it all the time. It's pretty cool. All right. So what do you guys see in this picture? That's right. It's very familiar from our Bible story today. We're going to make Jesus, Moses, and Elijah look very bright and shiny. So Jesus, Moses, and Elijah. So first I want you guys to add their faces. So go ahead and add their faces quickly. So add Jesus, Moses, and Elijah's faces. So they're going to need some eyes. They're going to need some ears. Unless we don't want ears, that's okay. Maybe a beard. It's up to you. Moses definitely had a beard. Let's see. What else would you maybe add? Oh, one of the faces that I drew kind of was a little bit small, but I'm sure that's okay. Okay. You know what? I give them all beards. All right, so here's my little guys and their faces, okay? So we added their faces. That was the first thing we were going to do. All right. Now somehow we need to make them look bright and shiny, right? Well, so my idea was that we color them with a bright silver marker, silver or gold, okay? So see how mine's kind of metallic-y and very bright, and silver in general. The color silver is just kind of a bright color. So I want you to color their clothes in your silver or gold. Marker, if you have it, or crayon works as well. Okay, and I'll do one of them just as an example for you, friends, to see, and then I will give you guys some time to work on yours. Oh yeah, definitely bright and shiny. Maybe not quite as bright and shiny as I was hoping, but I think it'll work. I hope that you all had a gold or silver marker at home. I know that's kind of a specific request. And if not a big deal. You can always use silver, or you can use yellow. Yellow is another bright color. Okay, so here's mine. It's kind of hard to tell probably through the camera, but when I turn it, you can see it's, oh, yep, see? Look how shiny it is when it's in the light. Kind of cool. Alrighty, so go ahead and do that with all three, with Jesus, Elijah, and Moses. Okay. Pause the video now if you need to. All right. So what did you guys think it would have been like to be there that day? Wow. Pretty cool. If you were standing there as Peter and James and John, and all of a sudden, whoosh, this bright light showed down on them. It'd be pretty amazing. What would you have said to Jesus on the way back down the mountain? What do you think you would have said? Do you think you would have said, wow, that was amazing. You are God's son, and I will follow you. One of the most amazing things in this story was the voice the disciples heard. Who was it who was speaking to them? Yeah, it was God. And what did he say? What did he say? He said, Jesus is my son. Follow him. He is your community. All right. And right before this all happened, there was a cloud that covered the whole mountain. So I want you to take your cotton balls. Okay, and you're going to kind of stretch them out a little bit, but not separate them, okay? So see how mine kind of looks like a cloud now? Okay, and then I'm going to take a little bit of glue, and I'm going to put the glue on the paper, and then I'm going to stick the cloud to the paper. So glue on your paper, and then stick your cloud to your paper, kind of like that. Okay, so there's one of my clouds. Okay, so this is just to remind us that before God shined his light down, there was a cloud that came across the mountain. All right. That was a big cloud, right? So I kind of did two to make them connected. Okay, so there's my clouds. Go ahead and pause the video now if you need to catch up. All right, moving on. So, sorry, we're on the next page. We're gonna start working on the top part of this page, okay? So we're here now with the church. What does this picture look like? I just gave that away, didn't I? It looks like a church. Do churches all look like this? No, not usually. But does this look like our church? Parts of it, yeah. I would say cross. We see a cross in our church, right? We see windows in our church. Okay. But it doesn't really look exactly like our church, right? No. Because all churches look different. But what goes on inside the church is very, very similar. So all churches are communities of people who follow Jesus. All Christian churches are. Okay? All Christian churches are communities of people who follow Jesus, which is a pretty amazing thing. So we're all a part of one community who follows Jesus, the Son of God. So communities of people who follow Jesus do some things together. What does our church community do together? Let's think. What are some things we do together? Well, I want you guys to pull out your stickers. This will give you a pretty good idea of some of the things that we do together. All right? So do any of these things remind you of something our church community does together? Yeah, absolutely. So first of all, our church community prays together. We pray together. Okay, so let's take that sticker and let's put it in the church. How about let's put it near the pews or the chairs where people sit. So they pray together. What else does our church community do? Okay, next. Oh, there's the picture of the wine or the juice and the bread. Our church takes the bread and wine of Holy Communion together, right? We do. So let's take that sticker. And we're going to put that one up near the cross on the altar, okay? Right there. Okay? All right. Next, oh, the piano. What does that one mean? That is something our church community does together. We listen and sing to music together, right? I'm gonna put that, let's think about where Mr. Jason usually sits, over with all of the stuff at church. Okay, so over in the corner up there. All right, and then our last one. This one's a lot harder. In our church community, we help each other, right? We help those who are less fortunate, who don't have things like food or clothes, okay? So that's what she's doing here. She's helping others by collecting food. So you can put that wherever you want. And I'll just show you where I put mine, kind of on the front part of the church. Now, can you guys think of anything else that our church community does together? Can you think of anything? What are some fun, exciting activities that our church does together? So we do things like trunk or treat. That's really fun. We do things like love and serve your neighbor, where we go out and we make food bags, and then we ask neighbors if they have food donations. Yeah, it's a lot of fun. There's a lot that we do. Can you think of anything else? If you can think of other things that we do at church, think about what church is like. Think about things that are there for kids, so that the kids can all celebrate and worship Jesus together. Okay? I want you to draw those pictures in your church. So remember, go ahead and pause the video now so that you can draw your pictures of other things you do as a church community. We are all a part of a great big church community all around the world. A community that follows Jesus. Pretty amazing and pretty lucky, I think, that we have each other to lean on, especially during this time when we're not able to be together. We're not able to be at church together because of the pandemic. It's a time when we can remember, well, there are other kids out there, or other adults out there, and we are all part of this one big church community, and we have each other to lean on if we need help. So each of us is important to this community, right? What do you do as a part of a church community? What do you do as a kid? So some of you go to Sunday school. You come to KidTime, right? Let's see. You go to church and you sing. You go to church and you might work on your children's bulletin. You might go to church and you play silently with your toys, and that might be your way of being a part of your church community. Everybody has a way that they are a part of their church community. So I want you right now to draw yourself down here. Can you draw a picture of yourself down here? Okay, do a quick draw. So a stick figure would be awesome. I'm just going to do a stick figure of myself. I'm going to have my hands out so that you can see that it's me. I'll put on a dress. Okay. All right. Okay. So everybody get a stick figure of themselves. Because we're a part of our church community. We each are. We have something important that every one of us brings to our church community. I want you guys to use your colored paper, right? So I kind of just grabbed a couple colors. And your scissors and your glue stick. And I want you to think of things that you do as a part of our church community. So remember, that might be Sunday school. That might be that you sing in church. That might be that you bring music, or that you sing music. That might be that you play in the playground. That might be that you bring your kids' worship bag to school, to church with you. Any of those things. Those are all things you do to be a part of the church community. I want you to draw your picture and then cut it out from your colored paper and glue it on to your picture. So I'm going to draw. I'll give you guys a quick example. So something that I like to do as a part of our church community is I like to sing. I don't sing with the choir, but I like to sing while I'm sitting in my seat with my daughter and my husband. Okay? So I did a really quick draw because I'm just trying to give you guys a quick example. I did a quick draw of a book that has music notes above it. Okay, and I'm going to cut that out right now, and I'll show it to you. Okay, so here's my picture, and I'm going to glue it on, because that's something that I do as a part of our church community. I can think of so many other things, guys, and I know you can too. I also teach KidTime as a part of our church community. I teach Sunday school as a part of our church community. I help with Kids Ed. I teach Kids Ed as a part of our church community. So I kind of teach as a part of our church community. Okay, so there's my picture. I go to church. I bring my daughter to church. That's something I do as a part of the church community because she doesn't have the choice to go. So those are things that I want you guys to think about. All right, pause the video now and go ahead and add your pictures. All right. So what do you guys like best about our church community? I know we haven't been there for so long. Some of you maybe have come back, some not. Yeah, I think something I like about our church community is that we're all there for each other. You can have a conversation with anybody and feel so comfortable and so happy and so at home. Everybody there makes you feel good. So what's something that you really like to do with our church community? Some of you might say trunk or treat. Some of you might say the summer picnics. Those are pretty fun. Can you guys think of something that you're really looking forward to doing with our church community? Maybe when we're able to be back together after the pandemic, after there aren't any more restrictions. I know something I'm really looking forward to, and I really pray that it will be a possibility this year, but it's to do our VBS in person next summer, because that's something that I really missed out on this year. And I bet a lot of you felt that way too. All right. Well, thank you so much for joining me today. We're going to close in prayer, and we're going to have a little bit of actions with our prayer today. So just go ahead and repeat after me and then do the actions with me. All right. Hi, God. Thanks for sending Jesus. Thanks for helping us learn about him. Thanks for loving us. We love you too. Mwah! Amen. Wonderful job. All right, guys, I will see you next week. Bye.